Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at one of those topics that end up being one of those things that students often wish I had taught them sooner. It's one of those scenarios where we've learned how to do it the hard way, so now we're going to learn some shortcuts that make animation a little bit easier. So up until now, you guys have had to set every single keyframe that you want to for anything that moves. So for example, if I were to change the location of my cube snake up and to the right, then I'd have to keyframe location and then move it and keyframe location again. And if I wanted to rotate it, then I'd have to rotate it slightly and then move it, or set a keyframe for rotation, move up in time, move it and rotate it and set a keyframe again. Today, we're going to learn about automatic keyframing, which makes this process a little bit easier. So if we look at the bottom of Blender, right here, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit so we can see it. There's a little button that almost looks like a record symbol. It's a little red button. This is the button that turns keyframing on and off, automatic keyframing. So the reason that we have to be careful about when we turn on automatic keyframing is we don't want to have automatic keyframing on while we're still building our scene. We shouldn't start keyframing until we're ready to actually animate stuff. Because if we turn this on and we're still building, then stuff is going to end up having keyframes that we don't want it to have. So we're going to leave automatic keyframing off until we're ready. However, in this scene, all I need is Cube Snake. So I am all set to start my automatic keyframing. To start keyframing automatically, oh, I don't want this. I want my sticky notes. Let's see if I still have any sticky notes about keyframing. Here we go. Keyframing. We're going to add a little note here. Automatic keyframing. We have to turn on the red button. And then we also have to select a key set. And a key set just means that we're going to tell Blender how to keyframe stuff. Essentially, we'd be restricting Blender to only keyframing certain objects. Today, we're going to keyframe anything. So I'm going to click this little record button. And then in this key set selection, I'm going to choose available. Now, if you look on here, I can restrict what gets keyframed. If I wanted to, I could only automatically keyframe location. I could only automatically keyframe rotation. I want to keyframe anything. So I'm going to choose available as my keyframe. Available keyframes everything. Okay. Now, the key thing about keyframing is I still have to set initial keyframes. So if I want to move and rotate this guy, I'm still going to have to make sure that a keyframe is set. Now, I could either set the keyframes like I've done before by pressing I, so I could set a location. Oh, no, I can't because I'm in an active key set, right. So because I'm actively automatically keyframing, to set the initial keyframe, I'm just going to move this guy a little bit and move him back. And look up here. We get keyframes for location, rotation, and scale without having to set separate keyframes. So now if I want to move him, I'm going to, let's say I want to move my cube snake to up and to the right, and I want to rotate him. So I'm going to do this over a course of 3 seconds. I'm going to go up to 90, so I'm moved to the end of my animation. And then all I have to do is move my cube snake to the end. And look at what happens in my dope sheet. New keyframes appear. And my values change for location, rotation, and scale. If I want to rotate him, if we check my graph editor, it's automatically setting keyframes for the rotation values. So here are my location curves that have been changed. Here are my rotation curves that have been changed. So by simply moving the object to its final position, it automatically keyframes that position. So let's run this animation and test it. And just like that, we haven't had to insert all the keyframes. All we had to do was turn on automatic keyframing. The great thing about automatic keyframing is it also works for bones. So if you guys create armatures, which you're going to be doing in class, then you are going to be using automatic keyframing to be able to allow your armatures to automatically get keyframed based on what you change. And I know for some of you this will be really handy because you found that when moving multiple armatures, it's a pain to have to keyframe all of them. So now you just turn on automatic keyframing and it'll automatically show up. Now if I want to go to frame 90 and move this guy again, I might go to frame 160. And now I might have it move all the way over here and twist around some more. And we're seeing that our curves, again, are changing on the graph editor for both location and rotation. Notice I'm not having to insert any keyframes anymore. Because this automatic keyframing is on, it does the work for me. So it goes up here, and then after 90, I'm going to go around the other side. When we are done, we always have to remember to turn off when finished. It's really important because we don't want to make changes. There may be changes that we want to make to our object that isn't animated. Like let's say I want to scale, let's say my cube snake is too small. So I want to make it bigger. Well, I can turn off automatic keyframing and then scale my object so that it has a different size for the entire animation. So now you should see it. Oh, it's because I keyframed it first. So see, this is the problem with turning on automatic keyframing. Because this guy's already been keyframed, I cannot change its size. So see, I fell into my own trap. Automatic keyframing. Don't turn it on until your scene is done. So we want to make sure we do all our editing first. I fell into my own trap of not being able to change this guy after I've done automatic keyframing. So I should have made sure that my cube snake, everything about my cube snake needs to be done before I try to animate. And that's because we chose available, right? So this guy is already automatically putting in keyframes for scale. I would need to go back now and keyframe them at different sizes to be able to get my sizes to update. I should have changed the scale before I started automatically keyframing, and I would have been okay. So we have to be very cautious of when we're automatically keyframing and when we have automatic keyframing turned off. In class, you guys are going to have the option to make an animation using either technique. I recommend giving automatic keyframing a try so that you don't have to worry about all this stuff. But it's up to you guys. If you want to try it with continue to set keyframes manually, that's perfectly fine. Automatic keyframing can just speed up the process in some places for us. Thanks for watching.